Good, Bobby. I am coming. Are we rolling? Like recording? That's the intro. Good morning. We've been here since 7:30, 8 o'clock. But this is, if you follow both myself and the Immortal page, what we prompted Tommy to set up because this is now the second class going on. It is Memorial Day weekend, so to honor the now past Navy SEAL, they do that to kind of like congratulate and like honor the vets and stuff like that. So on top of doing this and the $1,000 giveaway, Tommy does free classes all morning for whoever wants to try it out. So the table's doing extremely well, and then we are going to work out a little bit later at Powerhouse in Brewster, which I know a lot of your ears probably perked up because I haven't been up there in a minute, but we have some exciting news that you guys will have to stick around and see later in the video.
The only thing I didn't have,
I think for the sake of my video, you need to do a line of everything.
How fast do I have to do it?
I'm giving you 30 seconds. My advice? Yeah.
This is my favorite.
ASMR. Nope, that's the chalkboard sound.
Friend, this is the portion where he plugs in his megafit.
Thank you, Megafit. I don't even know if I talked about the Megafit sponsorship. Did I? Alright, well, just buy I will plug my code. Yeah, or I won't plug it because I'm a bad marketer. Oh my God. Meeting number 2, starting with a buffin. So, it feels great to be back. We're about to have a team meeting to like welcome me back and such, and like they do this, like this is like the weekly staff meetings that we do. I'm sorry, monthly staff meetings. Look, I'm eating Vinny.
It's not the first time he's eaten.
That's crazy. So, as I said, we are back up here, but back up here with Frankie, and it is probably loud as fuck, but in reality, you can hear me perfectly. So, pre-workout intra meeting, I'm eating this. We're gonna listen in, they're gonna do their thing, they're gonna set people up, I'm gonna set people up, and then we're gonna train. So, busy, I was gonna say Sunday, but it's a Saturday. And I think we're all hitting upper? Okay, mazel tov. Hello, no one can hear anyone. Her neck hurts. So everyone is up here. Eli is shitting. But yeah, we're all hitting similar. No, I think everybody's doing something a little bit different. Dulcie's doing upper, you're doing chest back, I'm doing just chest. Nat and Eli are doing legs. So we just finished the meeting. Everything that needed to be said was said. Nice, short, and sweet. We had pre-muffins, which were exciting. But yeah, happy to be back. We'll touch more on this later when me and Frankie are at the house. But very exciting Saturday so far. Very exciting.
the next morning, and I'm gonna sit you guys down and break all this down for you real quick. So, one thing for sure is I definitely need a cage on my new camera to have 2 shotgun mounts for a wireless mic and a wired mic, because I'm always in a situation where if I need to click it on super fast, I can just plug the wired mic in and it grabs all of the footage a lot cleaner than like just an external mic. And 2, I need an extension. I need a battery pack, because yesterday I wasn't able to close this out because of the battery life on just the one battery. Now I did just enough. I think it ended up at like 10 or 15%. That's why I got like a lot of B-roll of the food and all that stuff. So on top of that, we also got a cheat day, which obviously you guys at this point of the video would have seen. So event at Immortal went fantastic with Tommy, and then we actually received a follow-up text message. Yanni, Frankie, Dulce, thank you so much for coming out today. I appreciate a ton of support from Raw. Several members went out of their way to tell me they enjoyed it, and obviously because Tommy had darted out, and not to put information on blast, but Tommy had darted out. He had like a tattoo cancel, his tattoo parlor, I guess they're called, or artist, ended up darting out early. So like he was like, I'm gonna go get a tattoo. I was like, dude, go, we got it. So they ran, just to reconclude this video, the Murph in the morning, obviously the taste testing, which you guys had all seen, and then just it was like a big networking event for us. Like I'm now tapping into a community that I have just no concept over, and I spoke over with it to Dulce's mom on like it's a community that I grew up and loved. It's a very tight-knit culture, very close family in terms of like they're all just doing it for the betterment of wellness and moving properly in life. Now, obviously being on the CrossFit side of the sport, it's just labels under an umbrella of we're trying to get better. And I'm not going to tap into that because I could go on a spiel on bodybuilding, powerlifting, CrossFit, whatever your genre is, like endurance athlete, like whatever. At one point in all of our careers, it was just for the betterment, for us to get in better shape, look better, feel better, and act better ultimately. So now that I'm tapping into like that side of the community, one, there's things I can gain as just an actual bodybuilder from my personal perspective, that I can now move better, I can gain more mobility, I can do all this, I can do all that. We were talking about, with Tommy the other day, I was talking about BPC, I was talking about like recovery, we were talking about saunas, we were talking about a whole bunch of stuff that like now I've been fortunate enough to, not even manifest, it's not the word, but just like to be able to bring into my environment to make me that much more successful as an athlete and as a bodybuilder. And ultimately, these decisions that I made over the past couple of months was with that in the foresight of me just becoming a better literal athlete, becoming a better, the best version of a bodybuilder I can become, seeking out a coach, getting my eggs in order, and now expanding opportunities to some of my hardworking closest friends ever. And I put hardworking before closest friends ever is because I would love to work with everyone and anyone around me, but when it comes to work and on on Paul's ears, he can ring me a new one if I'm lying. A lot of it is just business. There's just certain conversations you need to be mature enough to have, and me learning as a younger business owner, and even taking insight from Cristiano as well with his character development and growth as a leader and as a business owner. These are just, there's certain black and white concepts that we do need to put into formation, that it is what it is, and it has to happen the way it has to happen. Now, obviously, we're all emotional beings, and I love when Paul was speaking on this yesterday, and I think it was either yesterday or one of the few meetings that we had, because we had a few meetings over the past couple of days, that all of us, that you guys have seen in my past few videos, the past couple of days, we are all super emotional to the extent of that we're passionate of what we care about. So when things are thrown in the mist, and I spoke about this with Jack, and it's almost seen as like a threat, or it's just like we're not growing together, right? Because from my depart from Powerhouse originally, it's just we were growing separately and apart, and it wasn't fully animosity, but we all were fully emotional. I mean, as a human and natures of that creature that we are bound to fall into those traps of just like whatever, and just like painting with pain. And as an artist and as a creator, that's like an intangible in my life. So it's like if something hurts me or I get annoyed by something, I'm allowed for it to fuel me and create content in that sense, and vice versa for Paul and the family up there and stuff like that. But all things considered, it was no animosity. It was just at the same time, we just use it as fuel to help independently each other grow on different paths for the time being. But not to say like it's weird, because like we were both on this notion too. It's not that neither of us had lost faith. It's just, again, I'm a firm believer as of this point in my life that everything has to happen the way it has to happen. I like, that's something that like now I stand on and will possess till the day I die. But it wasn't the fact that like everyone had hope I was coming back, or we hope this works, or we hope there wasn't a lot of that, because our character on all parties and all agendas was making sure that it held more weight than our title. So like, I'm a business owner, I'm a this, I'm a that. Like, no one, at the end of the day, when we were in the meeting, when it's just big guys talking, no one gave a fuck about that. Like, we all knew what we were great at, we all know what we're capable of, each individual party, we all know what our strengths are, we all know what our weaknesses are. I had a very expensive, not even monetarily speaking, learning curve between the departure of Powerhouse and now doing everything I'm doing in the past couple of months. And I know it's been a little rocky with media and stuff like that. That's why I figured just kind of sit this down and talk to you guys. But between that departure and everything, from like that, if you guys can place the timestamp, but like from that departure to the amount of time we did stuff with Mount Vernon, now with Immortal, with and now with Powerhouse in general, there was just a lot of self-reflection and like looking in the mirror, and like just, and I've had these moments a couple of times in my career, in my bodybuilding journey, where it's just like, it's literally just looking in the mirror, just like sitting down. Like, you guys see this setup, sometimes I would sit on this couch, no computer, no phone, and just like look out or look up. The mirrors are up, but just look out, like literally into an empty room, and just break myself down, break myself apart, because like no one's going to be a higher critical, no one's going to take more criticism, or no one's going to give more criticism on me than myself. So I really just broke it down, and I realized that over my career, I've always bitten off more than I can chew. Now, I'm also fortunate enough that I'm able to be that bold and able to take those opportunities and able to fail, and I'm lucky to learn throughout the process, because quite literally speaking that statement into existence, you guys are seeing it full time with accepting Powerhouse back, and just really picking myself apart. I'm like, all right, well, I can't do it alone, because now, honestly, in reality, can I do it alone? Yes, but then like my new relationship breaks apart, the friendship and now business partnership that I teamed up with Frankie on falls apart, and it doesn't even take off, let alone fall apart. It doesn't even get assembled. I can't become the best bodybuilder I want to be, and I can't continue to do with Raw what I'm doing right now. So how do you, and again, the plain old, truth of it all is to divide and conquer. So quite literally, I'm going to explain it in very simple terms, but you hear it all the time. And I feel like when most business owners are starting, they don't talk about this stuff, and they talk about it like after they're like a fucking bajillionaire. So it's like, I think it's important for me to learn and to expose myself, because I'm huge on exposure therapy, to talk all of this out and let you guys know what's going on. But in terms of like me taking that small leap and that small learning curve, it's like now, and again, this is all gonna, if Paul, if you're watching, this is all gonna be fucking, this is like a video night time, we're all repeating this stuff. But now me getting out of my own way and creating an opportunity for Frankie, because just mentally, and it's not a hit at Frankie, because I remember being in Frankie's position, but I remember being able to shoot and create and like I'm talking out the ass, like shit that like companies pay people thousands of dollars for, and I was doing it for free. And I was painting with pain, with passion, with love, with just anything I was feeling. And even as an artist, right? Like, I mean, we love listening to whatever, Drake, Kendrick, and these are all emotional artists, but they're able to funnel it into a path and create something that you cannot buy. And that's what I stand on. And to bring that statement full circle, something that can never be bought in my community is culture. And I you hear it all too fucking much, man. You hear it all too much. And if I didn't love Paul the way I did, I wish I, and again, this is not going to be an attack at anyone, but if I could have had you guys in the meeting, and the I'm sorries that were giving to me, and the, you know, the I'm sorry's, the taint on the culture, we're going to label them culture vultures, people saying they can do things they didn't do. It's like I've spent, and again, I'm not, all egos are off the table right now, because it wasn't like people were begging me to come back and stuff like that. It was just an opportunity. I saw it fit me at that point in my life. I had a lot of growth. Cristiano had a lot of growth. Paul had a lot of growth. Powerhouse has had a lot of growth. So it's not like I was going in there and everybody's like, I'm sorry, Yanni, we want you back. Like, nothing to that extent, but it's like I left my mark on that place. And as a creator, this is where most of you can chime in. And I've said it to Frankie, I've said it to Eli, I've said it to everyone and anyone that wants to create or is starting to create, that please do not change your vision for anyone else. Do not. Like, you are, I mean, unless you got to get better, but like, even I have to get better, but like, just understand that there is a notion, like, Frankie doesn't shoot the way I shoot. Frankie doesn't talk the way I talk. He doesn't have the creative ideas that I have, but then I could say the same thing about him. And now, is my content necessarily better than Frankie's? No. But is Frankie's content better than mine? Also no. It depends. It's in the eye of the beholder that you can't put a monetary value on. And Frankie, watching my growth growing up since one of the first gyms we created and marketed and did media and all that stuff, it was like he saw all of that. He saw himself in it. And I said it actually in Eli's video that, like, when you're good at what you do, I don't have to sell anything. It's very approachable. I remember even our first conversation with Paul, I was like, hey, I do this. He scaled everything. And honestly, before even, it was the most informal meeting. We sat down at the counter at the Soily bar, and he was like, you're in. We'll just figure it out. He immediately put me in a group chat with JB, who was still their SEO and all that stuff for marketing and media and networking and all that stuff, and set it all up and went to the moon. Because again, like, I knew what I was talking about. I knew the character I was. I knew what I could do ultimately in terms of the character I was. I had to grow into it and develop it and sustain myself as a proud business owner that I am. And I've been able to shoot it through the moon. So, like, I'm happy to accept it all now full circle. And now to bring Frankie in on this is I can't say yes to all of this. So impromptu, I'm talking out of character with what me and Tommy are setting up for Immortal as well. But kind of a similar concept, new off the floor. And Tommy's story is, you know, he's getting into general fitness in terms of like a gym space and stuff like that. Not that he's a fucking chooch in terms of like he doesn't know what the gym is, because he knew more about my table than I fucking did when it came to supplements and stuff like that. But he, at the beginning of the video, like I said, had a very tight knit, like, endurance athlete, CrossFit. I don't know much of his story, but I do know, like, there's certain things that, like, I can kind of put together in place without knowing, like, the vegetables of the plate, metaphorically speaking. But same thing with Paul on another end. You know, like, I'm not weighing two giants against each other. It's in a world full of competition. I'm choosing to collaborate. I even invited Tommy up to Powerhouse. I was like, come and meet Paul. And honestly, I didn't get the chance to say it to Paul the other day because we were just having important meetings like all week long. But I'm going to say the same thing to Paul. If you're ever in my area, dude, come and train. Come and do like a fucking Murph or something. Like, I don't know, like, you know, and push his limitations, because we're all about that. Like, all three characters, myself, including Paul and Tommy, is we all like to push that envelope as just strong males as we are in our industry. So I'm super happy. And then me being able to grow past myself and see beyond myself and my limitations is to invite Frankie on board. So the business that I had set up in the time being is, and until I like figure out like fully, you know, cross T's and dot I's, is to give Frankie everything I have access to from this point moving forward. And obviously, he had said yes verbally, obviously, before to Tommy and to now Powerhouse, and he is brought on board. So, on top of the follow-up post that I'm going to make to it today, which is probably already live before seeing this video, it's going to be introducing him to everything I'm doing. Now, he's been like a sponge, and I can damn near say I've been like a father to him. So, not to put myself on that pedestal, because it's not self-proclaimed in that fashion, but it's like me and Frankie have had heart-to-hearts that'll make everybody cry, and through a lens, honestly, if I've had the conversation. So, I'm super fortunate that it comes down to this and that I'm able to have that much of a calling in my life. There is a huge difference between a career and a calling. I've been saying that since I picked up the camera, because I'm not the best shooter. I'm not the most creative, and I'm not the most punctual even at times. Like, that was one of my issues. I'm not consistent with this stuff because it's just I'm doing a lot. I know people feel me when I talk because there's weight behind my words, because there's actions behind my doings, meaning like damn near everything I've said has almost come into fruition, or it's in fruition, because some things just need to take time, bodybuilding being one of them. And two, going back to what I said before, being bold, like the ability to dream is like, it is such a weird, intangible potential. I feel like, honestly, off the top of my head, I feel like I can label it, because I'm kind of like ranting, but I just want you guys to feel my heart and listen to my thoughts in terms of like potential and knowledge is nothing if it's not tapped into it. And it's like I love that people are like, I can do this and I can do that and I can, it's way better than I can and I'm not and I can never. But like at the same time, it's like if you're praying and asking for change, on a much spiritual sense, and I don't care what ear this falls on, whether you're ready to hear it or not, a lot of people are praying for the cake and they have the ingredients. It's just like no one's going to do it for you. Like no one in this life is going to do it for you. And then that's what I told even Frankie, like buckle the fuck down, because June, he's going to get hit with a fucking semi-train. Semi-train? Semi-truck. He's going to get hit with a semi-truck because it's work. It's mental stress that he's never handled before. Because it's one thing just going to work 40 hours a week, which there's nothing wrong with. I'm not saying that. But it's another, now it's thinking 2 steps ahead. Like we're talking a 72-hour buffer period between like content and media concepts. Direct sales to consumers, like certain networking ideas, certain creative ideas that like these take time to plan. That like when we're in the gym and shooting and stuff like that, we don't have to put the pen to paper like when we're creatively shooting for ourselves, because like we know what we want. We don't need a team to coagulate or like distinguish or like put that there, move this here, act like this, do this transition, do this zoom, look at this, do this bokeh setting, make this passive. Like we don't have to talk about that, because like I don't tell you guys what I'm doing to the camera in terms of like when I'm creating and stuff like that. I just do it. But now it's like when you are setting up another subject, like this is a whole nother envelope of being a creator and being able to get people out of their element, which is also a fantastic thing I do that I personally don't give myself credit for. I am very easy to work with in a very intimidating field, because one, there's a lot of people doing it, and two, just what I shoot and promote, it hits, because like I'm a very authentic, real person. It's like I'm very monotonous at certain points. I'm very cutthroat to certain avenues, and it's like even with Raw, when I was signing with them, I was explaining it to some of the girls and the guys at Immortal when they were taste testing it. I would have not signed with Raw if I thought their shit was shit, for lack of a better sense. But it's like, even on top of that, if Dom, Chris, and Matt went to, I don't know, Ghost, they're gonna do the same thing, if not better. It's like, and it's like, they're great people, and that's like I'm saying that very loosely because they've massively impacted my life. They're fantastic people, but it's like going back to what I said before. These are people that I can call and talk to, that like when shit's going on. And I actually mentioned to Frankie and to Paul about Chris's Gymshark departure and then going back, because I asked, because I left Powerhouse and now I'm back. So it's like that. I was like, how do you do that? How do you, and I'm going to save that conversation for myself because it was a little more personal than I would like to share at this point in time, because there was a lot of insightfulness that I gained. And obviously I shared it with Paul and stuff like that. But these little like steps in my life that like now I get to be a better boyfriend. I get to be a better husband and a better father in the future. I get to be a better son. I get to be a better business partner. And then on top of that, I get to be a better friend and a better business partner to Frankie's life now as a whole. Because now this is adding a quality now to Frankie's life that he didn't have, because he was already shooting for people. But it's like, I remember getting to that point in my career where I was shooting for pennies to the dollar when this shit costs like tens of thousands of dollars. And I had to, I remember maxing out credit cards and not being able to pay gas for all this shit. And now it's like, I can damn near say yes to almost any gym I walk into. And I'm not even saying that egotistically and braggadociously or in a braggadocious fashion. Whatever. Like, now my brain, I have to eat breakfast and everything. But long story short is I am back. We are going to get Tommy full swing as well. But it is going to be exactly picking up where I left off, but just on a much more rapid schedule, because obviously now with Randy already doing his thing up there, and now me me fully taking over and attaching Frankie to it as well, that there's going to be content up there all the time. And now, because of my busy schedule, just being an athlete and active bodybuilder and stuff like that as well, because there's two of us and I can't be in both places at once, and obviously because Immortal's literally right down the street from me, that gym needs more help than Powerhouse. At least Powerhouse has a great fluid running machinery, like motor, metaphorically speaking, than Immortal does right now. So I'm going to be more at the home front than up there. But it's like, up there, I'm going to set the pace and do a couple hard launches and media and stuff like that, so I can set the tone and the pace for the boys. And then like, hey, these are the shoes you need to fill. And then we get up there. And obviously, like, I'm not going up there, but it's like, because of the busy lifestyle and travel and doing this with Raw and doing this with this, doing this with that, it's cool because I know Frankie can shoot the way I shoot. He's learned from what I've been putting out there. And then now this is now another objective and standpoint in his life now where he can learn, because now for me to step into a leadership and, I guess, creative management, we're labeling it. I don't even know what I'm labeling it, but like, just to manage the media and be the forefront of like whatever I want to be involved with, and then just dispersing creators to go and do and give them insight. Like, Monday you got to be here, Tuesday you got to be there, Wednesday you got to be in Connecticut, like whatever. And like, at this time, with this person, at this date, this is the idea. And creatively, I'll never cap them, but I'm like, this is the concept, this is the idea, go shoot it, whatever works. And that's where, again, JB and all of us on the media department were sitting down and literally like, we have like a timetable in terms of like the idea that's created, the idea that's created in terms of like just expanding on the idea, almost like a rough draft to set up for a rough draft, executing the idea, reviewing the idea, and then ultimately the final form. So like, obviously between the review idea and executing the idea, anybody can add in from either a creative standpoint, or we should add this, or we should add that, or add this connotation. And then like, ultimately it comes into a final review, and all of that done within a 72-hour window of a buffer period. And it's like, then we create a masterpiece. And it's like, it's super cool, because I was explaining it to Frankie yesterday over all the cheats that we had, all the cheat meals that we had. It was a cheat day that we had, honestly. But everybody's like, oh, you're not posting a lot, like this isn't that. I'm like, yeah, I'm not posting a lot. But if you looked at my agenda of what I've posted throughout the betterment of like a year, 2 years, I've had over, it's going to be over 100, but not over 150 pieces of content put out on a monthly basis in one which way or another. Either it's been for Powerhouse, for myself, for another gym I was a part of, this person I was working with. Mario was going to be back in the picture. Steve, I'm going to try to get back in the picture, or I'm going to get in the picture. But it's like, even privately working with independent artists, which is a whole other fleet in and of itself, because I had that conversation with Frankie, that like, marketing for a business owner, marketing for a business platform and an independent artist is way different, because like, as a business platform and media, you have to keep things super surface level, very professional, very general. Whereas a independent artist, which is also cool because now, because we do have a lot of characters that wear hats in Powerhouse, including myself, Paul, Frankie, anybody, Cristiano, all these people, Paolo, we can highlight them independently. And again, growing them independently as characters and as creatures as they are, they're going to see they're established with Yanni, Frankie, Powerhouse, whatever, Brave, Jiu-Jitsu, Jocko, like any brands that like they're all working with. Now they see them doing well as an independent artist and they see what they're attached to. And they're like, these are the people that we want to be around because this is the environment that they're in, that they're able to thrive and grow as an independent artist. So it's like, that's where independent meets teamwork. And ultimately, I know I'm running a race I can't finish. And I know this was a long spiel, but you guys had to understand what was going on in my life the past couple of months. And now why literally Spain was necessary. But I'm super fortunate. And again, I could probably make a podcast on this entire conversation, on this entire endeavor, but to take away from the entire conversation is I am back, not just with Powerhouse. I'm back, and I'm back with, I don't want to say back with Avengers because that sounds like hella corny, but I'm back with just intent, honestly. I know what I can do. I know what I can do for other people, and that goes both on the supplying end of whether it be creation or the monetary end in terms of like opportunities that can't be created for creators, i.e. Frankie and other media people that I have in mind. So all in all, yeah, 10 a.m. Sunday morning, we're about to train in about an hour. I got to eat. The gang's coming over. Dulce, I think, is just doing cardio. And me and Frankie are in a training session. But like, oh man, am I just ready to, you know? And I told Frankie, I'd be telling people to do this all the time, but I'm happy to swallow this pill as much pride as I have. But I'm just doing what I said I wanted to do from a very young age. I wanted to control a lot of things. I wanted to have projection on a lot of things. And how do you control projection is just to control all the variables and in between everything and take the guesswork out of it. Like leave the, you know, well, actually, yeah, I'm going to repeat myself, but yeah, take the variables out of it because I don't know what better way to say it. So take everything that, like, all that doubt and all the fear that you have in your mind. Again, I can't stress it enough. Just be bold. Like, be bold. Go out there and fuck it up, man. Go out. I mean, I fucked it up with Paul first time. And now we're back because he knew my intentions were pure. He knew what I can do, and I couldn't do it alone. And I don't know if he was expecting that when I came into the meeting the first time. I don't know if it was just me he was looking to bring on. And then when I dropped the ball to, you know, I mean, because he said to bring Ace. But when I went into that meeting and just acted like a business owner, and not acted like assumed the position, but I actually fill the shoes of a business owner, he looks at me now in a whole nother light. He's just very respective now. I mean, not that he wasn't before. He wasn't disrespectful before, but he's very just like, yes, now I got it. I trust you. You got your team. I've seen the error in our ways. I've seen the error in your ways. Because again, multiple errors on both parties, but it's just like all of it had to happen for all this to happen. And like, again, if that didn't happen, Frankie didn't happen, and I don't know what would have happened. And now I'm able to build with my best friend, like brother, father to son, brother to brother, bodybuilder to bodybuilder, like whatever. Our relationships are fucking like through the roof in terms of like what this kid means to me. But the fact that I'm able, and again, I'm not his savior. I'm not his fucking, like, he's fighting his own battles. He's making his own decisions. But he just saw, and again, I'm not speaking out of context or out of character. These are just conversations we have. But I'm super I'm super happy that I'm able to be there for him at this point in his life and provide a value more than just like I'm proud of you. Good job, bro. Keep it going. It's like, not that those aren't important and they're great. And it's like, it's something I never had growing up. But like now, me looking back and reflecting on my journey, knowing that I didn't have that, I can do that, but like on steroids, because now I can create opportunities for him and for people that like I deem are worthy enough. And not that everything goes through me, because I don't want anybody to take all this and run through it and he thinks he's just fucking like, because I'm not. I know what I am. I know what you're not, in terms of like people that are trying to talk against me and think that they're this hot shit. Because I'm going to put my ego on the table for a second, and I'm going to tell you, anyone that's going against me, you should have learned to shut up in the past. You should have learned. And if you haven't already, take this as a notion to shut the fuck up. I wouldn't go against me. I wouldn't. There's very close people in my life that are trying. And it's every once in a while. They just try to stir the pot. And guess who's not stirring the pot? Guess who's not near the pot? Guess who's not looking at the pot? Guess who doesn't give a fuck about the pot? Me. I don't care. And again, ego's on the table for a second, but pardon it for a second. But like when you own yourself, when you own your own shit, and you walk around like I don't walk around like I'm this fucking my shit doesn't stink. I literally just put out a whole fucking I don't even know how long this clip is rant of like I've made mistakes, he made mistakes, we've all learned, we've all become better characters, and we're pushing. Because anyone that's around you in life that's just criticizing you and playing victim to a game that they created, like you're a fucking idiot. But all that to the side, because I had to get that off my chest too. There's far more good than bad going on in my life right now. And there's been a lot of long years of bad. And I'm in the best relationship I've ever been in. I'm in across the board, just friendships and, Dulcie. But I'm excited because Eli's growing, Dulcie's growing, Frankie's now exponentially growing. And it's like everybody's at different, and Nat just graduated, stuff like that. So everybody's at different points of their career. Steve's stepping on stage. Tommy's like in a new realm of like the general ed. Paul's ready to get back to where we left off. It's like it's all, and including me. I'm ready to fucking become this new person that, like, whether it be better with raw, better bodybuilder, both, all at once, all at the same time. Shit, if you could put me in a fucking incubator and I become a superhero right now, that's how I'm feeling. But all emotions aside and being level-headed, because there is shit to do, I'm happy we're back. And how to singly support me, always, just punch Code Yanni in on anything Raw and Revive. Come and visit any of the gyms now. I mean, there's one, I know I'm a Westchester boy, so come down here. There's one closer to us. Or obviously, if you want to take the gym travel and come back to where, like kind of like I was birthed in terms of like, like where I really stepped up as an independent artist with Powerhouse, you can come up there. You can catch Frankie up there. You can catch Randy up there, or catch me or Frankie down here at Immortal. But I'm sure I'm going to have another piece of content in a couple of months talking about like we're taking over this gym and we're taking over that gym, because like now I got bit by a bug and I'm not gonna be able to stop. So anything, buy Raw, use code Yanni, come to the gyms, get a day pass, sign up, tag us in your stuff, let us see it, and I'm just happy to see who's the next person to step up, because that's all I'm looking for, in total honesty. So thank you guys. I wasn't even able to wrap up New York Pro and Pittsburgh, but those were both amazing experiences. And I'm happy. And then the next video, Yanni gets a coach. So, and I think I know who the coach is going to be. So that's super exciting. So on the very selfish end of it, because that's where this content is going, my personal YouTube content. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I just figured you guys needed to know this because it was big news with everything. Because we're going to keep the personal content subjective and personal to each independent artist. That includes myself. And for the business perspective, to make sure that is the betterment for said business that we are working for and the general operation of things. So I love you guys. I can't express that enough. I can't do what I'm doing without you guys. So I'm super excited. Share this, spam it, get excited, get attached to the journey, get around us. Winning is a common element around us, so I would choose wisely.